All right, so I wanted to do kind of a casual reaction video because I just finished the semester. I am recovering. This seems like a fun thing to do with my time. It is also May in Ohio, and people are always going to be doing yard work. And maybe this microphone picks it up, maybe it doesn't, and we shall survive. So recently, I actually saw this through Emily Fox's channel, so Books with Emily Fox. She reacted, I think just like yesterday, to another Goodreads list that came out. They do this fairly often, and this one is the Goodreads editor's top genre picks of the past 5 years. I'm fairly well read in a lot of genres, and I just thought it'd be fun to see which ones I've read, which ones I agree with, which ones I think are surprising, maybe even see how this list came together. It's just kind of chill. It's kind of casual. It was posted April 1st of this year, and I don't think it's like an April Fool's Day situation. I'll have the link down below if you want to click on it. And I'm thinking the best way to go about doing this as I get all comfortable is I'll probably put a screenshot here, I think. So let me get that set up. All right, so I think I have it on the screen. So here's our Goodreads editor. We already see in this picture here, before we even get going, I've read 3 of these, and I've liked a lot of them. Like, I love Buffalo Hunter Hunter. I really liked The Raven Scholar. I'm not, like, as big on it. And then Nightcrawling is one of my favorite literary fictions. I actually still need to read this author's next work. She is very exciting to me as, like, one of our first big Gen Z authors on the scene. And I've heard of When the Tide Held the Moon. This is a graphic design decision, how this font is working here. So yeah, let's just go, and I think they're just selected, let's see, hand-selected recommendations sorted by genre, like, that's it. I don't think they try to pick one from each year or anything like that. So yeah, let's just get into, so fiction. We've got, how many are we putting in each category? Like 12. So in this first row, I know of 3 of them, and one of them, I think Mario's Got Money Troubles. Isn't there like a show on Apple TV? For that, and I've been very interested in the show because I love a lot of the actors in the show. So I'm more curious about the show than the book because of the actors. Like, it has so many actors I think I like. Sally Rooney's always big. I wonder why they picked this one. I assume there's been other Sally Rooney that have been out recently in the last 5 years. I don't know why. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the other ones I'm thinking about, like Normal People, are much older because I don't read Sally Rooney. Martyr was big a few years ago when it came out. That one's cautiously like on my list, and more than likely on this top row, Wild Dark Shower. That's one that I do want to get to eventually. I don't know if it'll be this year, but I eventually want to. I really liked Migration by that author. Ann Patchett, I mean, it's Ann Patchett. She's pretty popular. Last 5 years. Now I'm like starting to think about what came out in the last 5 years. I'm pretty sure The Dutchman House came out in the last 5 years. Maybe not. But that's the only Ann Patchett I've read. It's one I really love. Tom Hanks is a narrator. Like I said, I love Nightcrawling. I love The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. Definitely, for modern Louise Erdrich, my favorite so far. I haven't read her most recent release, though. I have not read the Anthony Darrow, but Ryan has the World War II one that everyone always talks about. And then in this row, I love Demon Copperhead. That one's a favorite of mine as well. So the ones that I have read on this list, I have adored. I have wanted to read this Xochitl Gonzalez. I actually saw her newest one a lot during Indie Bookstore Day. So I've been wanting to read that. I do not know The Bee Sting. I don't even know the cover. I do know the cover of Cursed Daughters. I've seen that around. It's from the author of My Sister, the Serial Killer, which I don't know which one I'd want more. So The Cursed Daughter, it's going to show me a young woman must shake off a family curse. Okay. So, honestly, strong start. Strong start. I think it makes sense for a lot of the things we're seeing here. And like I said, I'm biased. The ones I've liked, I've really liked. I'm not going to know as much about historical fiction, but let's keep going. Junie, people were really into that. People love The Lion Woman of Tehran. I do want to try that one, but people love that one. I don't know these 2, but I do like these pairs on the cover. I feel like I've seen people read There Are Rivers in the Sky, but I don't remember a lot about it. Like I said, I just don't know a lot of historical fiction. But down here, the one that I've read, Trust, I enjoyed. I like a different historical fiction from that author much more. It's actually on my shelf. It's Into the Distance, but quite good. And then like I've seen this cover for Glorious Exploits, and I definitely have seen the cover for Burn Down Master's House, but I haven't read any of these. So Trust is the only one. I'm not that big of a historical fiction person. Like, I read it, I dabble, but I don't read it as often. Mystery thriller is going to be even worse. We'll get better again, eventually. Yeah, I mean, I recognize these covers. Like S.A. Cosby, pretty popular. The God of the Woods was pretty popular, and then it was in that Taylor Swift documentary, so, you know. I recognize these covers from different Goodreads situations. Vera Wong being here makes a lot of sense, because Vera Wong really has had a moment. And then, of course, we gotta have a Riley Sager. I don't know if this should be the Riley Sager, having not read any Riley Sager. A Bright Young Woman. I remember people really liking that one when it came out, and I don't know this one here. And this last row, yeah, I don't know anything. As you can see, I recognize this cover, The Violent Conspiracy. The cover strikes me. I remember it probably in a Goodreads Choice Award situation. All right, so now let's get into stuff that I actually might know. So romance and romantasy. So this is When the Ties Held Moon. People have been enjoying this one recently. The Shots You Take, Rachel Reed. So that is a heated rivalry situation. I don't know which book. I assume, based off the cover, it's the smoothie story from the show. But I have not read the books. I don't know August Lane, or I know The Heart Principle. I could be wrong because I haven't read it, but I think this is the one that has like neurodivergency, maybe autism representation in it. Down here, we got a Beverly Jenkins who I don't like know, but like I haven't read, but I know is popular. And I feel like same with Adriana Herrera, who I think I've read a short work from, but I have not read a longer work from, but is potentially on my list. I have read Bride. Fascinating. If this is the Allie Hazelwood that they've put on this list, that's fascinating to me. But, you know. Similarly, here's the Emily Henry. I'm assuming they're keeping one to each author. So if you are a fan of Emily Henry, I've only read Happy Place. Would this have been your choice? Especially because, remember, we're thinking the last 5 years. So I assume People We Meet on Vacation and Beach Read might not make the cut. They might be earlier, but I don't know for sure because I'm not, like, as in the know with that author. And then down here, fascinating that Tusk Love is here. I mean, I need to read that before, like, a challenge. But, like, they're only putting 12 romance and romantasy books. And for the romantasy category, putting Tusk Love over, say, something like, I don't know, Fourth Wing? You know? Not that Fourth Wing's, like, the best thing, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, we also have The Trial of the Sun's Queen. I don't know what this is. I assume based off the cover, it's a romantasy. But I haven't heard a lot about it. I know A Lady for a Duke is, I think, got some trans representation, which is good, especially for historical romance. And then I do love Tia Williams. I haven't read this one. I've read The 7 Days in June by her. So I do think they were definitely choosing, and I think it's a good choice to try and have a lot of diverse representation in this category. I don't know, like, you know, they're just like hand selecting what they consider the best of the past 5 years. So I guess it's an opinion. I definitely think an Abby Jimenez should be in here because I adore Abby Jimenez books a lot. So I think I would prefer that, and I think I prefer other Allie Hazelwood over Bride. And I'm not super well read in romantasy, but I just don't think necessarily it represents what I think people tell me are really popular. Fantasy, let's see. I will have read a lot of these. So I've read The Raven Scholar. I have read The Everlasting. I just am not up to date on my Goodreads. So those are good. I have not read Mad Sisters of Essie, but I want to, and that whale cover is so pretty. I own Metal from Heaven. It's on my TBR spin stack. The goal is to get to it. It's definitely like about anti-capitalism, revolution, very unique writing style. It was big award season. It got a lot of buzz. I have no idea what The Star Seekers is. Nicole Glover, though, I do know her. I read one of her first works. So I didn't know she had a new book, and now that puts it on my radar, which is kind of exciting. Because I did like, I think it was called The Conductors. It was a 1920s historical fantasy that I'm pretty sure was Nicole Glover. I don't think I'm making this up. But that was like more than 5 years ago when I read that one. Saint of Bright Doors, I have read. That one was very big award season when it came out. It wasn't my taste, but like it was on a lot of lists. I don't think it won. The author's second work won at least one award. I love the Jasmine Throne so much. So I'm very pro the Jasmine Throne being on this list. It makes me so happy. I've read it 3 times. I love it. The Will of the Many is solid. I get why it's here. I haven't read The Witch Roads yet, but I own it. I have no idea what An Arcane Inheritance is by Camilla Cole. That author is familiar to me, though. And I feel like I was saying this recently on a different list, so I need to look into Camilla Cole. And I think someone even on one of my videos commented, I really like Camilla Cole. And, John Gwen, you know, him being here makes sense to me. And Shadow of the Gods is like the stuff that he'd been writing recently that was big. I think things were kind of missing. I think we're missing, if we're talking about what was also happening kind of in the Will of the Many, Shadow of the Gods sort of vein, would be like The Tainted Cup. I think that's a big one that maybe should be here, especially over this, The Summer War by Naomi Novik, that like is very new. Like it is on the Hugo shortlist, new. But you know, I'll be reading that. So in terms of I've read quite a few. I'm curious to read The Summer War, Witch Roads. Star Seekers is now on my radar, especially because like it's in the fantasy section, so it's not a sci-fi. And then I have this on my TBR, and I've read a bunch of them. And like again, they are leaning towards diverse representation in many ways, like even in subgenre. So I'm not hating this list so far. Horror. I have read The Reformatory. Again, I am bad at updating my Goodreads because I read that in October. I own Bat Eaters and Other Names for Corazang. I have the audiobook from Libro FM. The Diary of Blood. People love that book. And they are using the OG cover. People did not like the new cover nearly as much. And I don't know. I assume this is the reprint, though, not the original. I love Our Share of Night. Like, I love Mariana Enriquez. Yes. I did not like Our Wives Under the Sea, but that's fine. I enjoyed We Used to Live Here, but it didn't like stick with me. But it's like it was a really fun weekend of my life. Like entertainment quality was high, longevity low, in the moment entertainment high. I've seen this cover. The eyes are the best part. I have not had any interest in reading it, but I have seen it. And then I want to read Monster Leo. That's on my list. I don't know if I'll ever read The Devil Takes You Home, but I'm interested in it. I have seen the cover for Diavola. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And then I adore Lone Woman. So again, the ones that I have read I really like. So I'm like, you know, I feel like this editor and I might have some overlap in taste other than this Abby Jimenez snub we have going on here. And now, science fiction. This is notoriously where Goodreads and I are not friends. Because look at all these first two here are sci-fi, but they're very literary sci-fi, or they're very grounded, like, near future sci-fi, which isn't bad. How High We Go in the Dark is like a short story vignette. I like it, but like, for example, right now I'm rereading the Arboreality book, and like that's just such a better form of that for me than How High We Go in the Dark. School for Good Mothers was very engaging. It was very hard for me to read, and that was a very personal thing. I was better once we were at the school. The first 25% getting to the school was like, for me, it really reminded me of my relationship to the judicial system and how it treated one of my parents. And it was really hard because I know how unfair and cruel it is, and then put some sci-fi dystopian spin on it. It was grounded, and then also like this is on purpose a very unlikable character. It was engaging. I don't think it was great. I don't know what the expert of several revisions is. I am going to be reading There Is No Anti-Menetics Division because I have a friend who wants to read it. And I was like, okay, I've heard it's out. I'll get it from the library. So I like reading books with friends, so I have no idea. It's very new, though. But it did have like this online, I think, situation happen. Service Model, DNF'd, don't like it. I read the first book that she wrote, but I did hear people liked The Stardust Grail better. Lit sci-fi, I know people liked Sky Full of Elephants. I have no idea what the blueprint is, but I'm curious. The cover is very cool. Like, I read so much sci-fi, and like, how is it? Like, I have read 2 of these, DNF'd one, read from another author. So I've read Operation Bounce House, which okay, it's not that great. So like, again, versus other categories where I'm like, I want to read these. This is a category where I'm like, I don't think it represents sci-fi in the last 5 years well, and I'm not interested in reading a lot of these. Because again, people who work at Goodreads don't like genre science fiction. I don't know why. Hire someone. Or read some. I don't know what's happening. So once again, sci-fi, not great. Nonfiction, I've read Poverty by America, very good. I've thought about reading How to Say Babylon. I think it has to do with relationship to hair. I'm always really interested in that. I don't read a lot of nonfiction. This is the guy who wrote the nonfiction that became the movie, Killers of the Flower Moon. And I assume we're going... Oh, Ryan, I just bought him this because he loves his other 2 essay collections. And Ta-Nehisi Coates. I assume... Do we not have a... What's his name? The guy who wrote Say Nothing and Empire of Pain. I feel like that should be here. You know? There it is. Found it. Oh, they just have way more nonfiction than any other category. Cool. Yeah, and then we have Eric Larson, who's also well known. Crying in H Mart for like our memoir. A lot of these have been pretty, you know, topical. Oh, we're still going. Disordered Cosmos, Replaceable You, which I saw at my bookstore. I didn't know George Saunders had a nonfiction. There's a lot of nonfiction here. So if you're looking for nonfiction, this does represent what's been like buzzy the past 5 years. Everything Tuberculosis is good. Ryan really liked One Day Everyone Will Always Have Been Against This. I haven't read it. There's the Jeanette McCurdy. Ooh, The Song of the Cell. That could be interesting to read. That's cool. I've been trying to read occasionally some science nonfiction that can help give me anecdotes to add into my lectures. So I don't have many opinions about that. So yeah, that was kind of fun. I don't know. Maybe you enjoyed it. I have no idea. If you were bored, I'm so sorry, and you're probably not here anymore. But this was kind of just a nice way to like hang out and, you know, do something that didn't hurt my brain but was also fun. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Friday Reads coming in the near future. And if you have any ideas for videos you want to see this summer, let me know. In addition to other things I'm doing, I am tentatively thinking about looking at some backlist books because I'm not a backlist girly. I've never been a backlist girly. Since I've been reading books consistently since around 2005, I have read the books that have been published. There are some moments where I've gone back, but in general, like, for example, other than the middle grade and young adult that I read in the 90s, I know very little in the 90s. Like, I have read Song of Ice and Fire, I've read Realm of the Elderlings, I've read Wheel of Time. But, like, there's a lot of stuff I haven't read, and so I'm thinking about maybe every so often looking at what was winning awards, looking at what was popular, and seeing if there's anything I want to add to my nebulous TBR. So I think that could be a fun video series. But yeah, if you have anything else that you're curious about my thoughts on, let me know. And if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, leave emoji that represents your favorite genre. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.